Watch inside Gaza hospital struggling to provide care to newborn babies. The director of one of Gaza's main hospitals says he is still seeing a pattern of malnourished and traumatized mothers giving birth to underweight or premature babies, more than 3 months into a fragile ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. Although significantly more aid has been allowed into Gaza since the ceasefire began, the UN says it is still nowhere near enough. Israel says it is meeting its obligations under the ceasefire, allowing more food and medical aid into Gaza. Kurdish-run prisons hold about 8,000 suspected IS fighters and around 34,000 of their family members in camps. BBC Middle East correspondent Hugo Bachega reports from the Iranian-Armenian border as internet shutdown continues following deadly protests. He has been a prominent voice calling for protests against Iran's authoritarian regime to continue. Relatives of 26-year-old Erfan Sultani, who was detained last week, have told BBC Persian he is due to be executed on Wednesday. BBC Verify has been examining disturbing footage from a mortuary in Tehran, showing scores of bodies. These images could hold clues about what's happening inside Iran. The protests, now in their 13th night, erupted over the economy and have grown into the largest in years. Anti-government protests in Iran have continued for the 13th consecutive day. In video verified by BBC Persian, protesters in Iran can be heard chanting anti-government slogans. The protests on Thursday appear to be the most widespread since the movement began on December 28. The BBC's Middle East correspondent Hugo Bachega speaks to Syrians about how life has changed since the revolution. Hundreds gathered in Manger Square to bask in the festivities that included music, dancing, and Santas bearing sweet treats. The vehicle had transported the late Pope Francis on a visit to Bethlehem in 2014. Humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher talked to the BBC about scenes of despair he witnessed on a recent trip to the Coastal Enclave. Tom Fletcher told the BBC more aid trucks were entering Gaza, but that it was a huge job to get vital supplies to those in need. Shadi Abu Sido told the BBC an Israeli prison officer said his family had been killed. Israel says it has released 1,968 prisoners and detainees as part of a ceasefire deal with Hamas. Israel is releasing 250 Palestinian prisoners as part of the ceasefire deal with Hamas. Palestinians in the West Bank say they hope the deal could lead to a united Palestinian future. It's not an easy life, she tells the BBC, as she tries to find comfort in second birthday celebrations for her son. Hopes are growing of an end to the Israel-Gaza war, but it remains to be seen if the two sides can agree a ceasefire. Copyright 2026 BBC. The BBC is not responsible for the content of external sites. Read about our approach to external linking. Subscribe to Neuron News and turn on notifications to stay updated with world developments instantly.